So at this point of the assembly process, when you've got all your tables laid out and you've got all your legs on, you've got all your screws in, you got the panels installed, you've got all the leveling feet on your tables installed, it's time to flip and essentially rotate the table. So whenever you did the assembly process, you went from this long side of the table, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you flip these over, we essentially need to reverse those from that position. So you can have 1 or 2 people do this process. I'll have Jake come help me in a second, but I'll show you if you're just one person putting these tables together. Usually what I do is I'll flip it over this way, and then I'll come down from the bottom, and I just kind of use the leg to flip it over. And then I'll move this one out of the way. What you really want to try and avoid is grabbing the tables by the panels. You can get a hand on that, but you really don't want to put too much pressure on those panels because, you know, they're installed and they're locked in, but that's not like the most strongest point of the table. So again, I'll usually just roll this over, flip it. So you're not like using your back, you're not having to like lift with your legs, you're really just using the weight of the table to roll it over. And so in this instance, this table, because it was 2, it's going to move over this way. And then this table will end up sliding over this way. So I'm just going to move that. And then you can just have somebody else like help you flip this thing over. Get 2 hands on it and then just flip, and it's pretty simple. So then at this point, because I'm lining this table up with the center of my room, and like I know that my rug seam is right where my camera is, I can line these legs up, and I know that that's going to be the right angle for my table. And then so we'll need to switch these, because that one has the outside panel and this one has the outside panel. So you can grab it there, and then we'll move them together. And then at this point, usually what happens is we'll need to put the rest of this hardware on to cover these holes, which when you order from us, that will already show up that way. It just looks this way for us because of the way we traveled with it. But there are latches at the seams in the front and the back of the tables. And so really at this point, I'm just reaching under and latching the table. So you'll do the ones from the back and then come over to the front and then just connect those latches. And then as you can see, once those are latched, these pieces will move together. Once you get everything latched up, then the entire table will move as a unit. So once we have the table fully assembled, we've got it all flipped over, we've got all the latches together, then really if you need to move your table around, you can just kind of move it like this, or get someone on the other side to help you move it to wherever you need it to go. I'm just trying to center it with my room, and so I can look at my line and my seam here. And essentially, if you're setting up your own space, your own studio, you'd have a point of reference for the middle of the room. I can look at my TV and know that the logo's right in the middle and lines up with the seam, and then I would just take the middle of this table and line it up with that seam as well. And then we'd be nice and centered.